of Vice President Vance on Friday, we have to fear that our common value base is not that common anymore. Let me conclude, and this becomes difficult.
Europe faces many challenges, but the crisis this continent faces right now, the crisis I believe we all face together, is one of our own making. If you're running in fear of your own voters, there is nothing America can do for you. And we also believe that it's important in the coming years for Europe to step up in a big way to provide for its own defense. The threat that I worry the most about vis-a-vis Europe is not Russia, it's not China, it's not any other external actor. And what I worry about is the threat from within, the retreat of Europe from some of its most fundamental values, values shared with the United States of America.
So the Europeans, who have provided as much or more support than the Americans in this process, you don't think should be at the table directly. You think it should be two protagonists.
I said I'm a school of realism. I think that's not going to happen. But I said that's one of the reasons I'm here talking to people. One of the reasons we're going out, we're doing it, to making sure that their positions are well known, that when we go into these positions, they're well stated. Now, that may be graded like fingers on a chalkboard. That may grade a little bit, but I'm telling you something that's really quite honest. So if you, part of the problem that we looked at when you looked at Minsk too, there was a lot of people at the table that really had no ability to execute some type of peace process, and it failed miserably.
President Trump gave me a clear mission: achieve peace through strength, as well as put America first. Our people, our taxpayers, our borders, and our security. We are doing this by reviving the warrior ethos, rebuilding our military, and reestablishing deterrence. NATO should pursue these goals as well. NATO is a great alliance, the most successful defense alliance in history. But to endure for the future, our partners must do far more for Europe's defense. We must make NATO great again. It begins with defense spending, but must also include reviving the transatlantic defense industrial base, rapidly fielding emerging technologies, prioritizing readiness and lethality, and establishing real deterrence. Finally, I want to close with this. After World War II, first General and then President Eisenhower was one of NATO's strongest supporters. He believed in a strong relationship with Europe. However, by the end of Eisenhower's presidency, even he was concerned that Europe was not shouldering enough of its own defense, nearly making, in Eisenhower's words, quote, a sucker out of Uncle Sam. Well, like President Eisenhower, this administration believes in alliances, deeply believes in alliances. But make no mistake, President Trump will not allow anyone to turn Uncle Sam into Uncle Sucker.
we are supposed to take some responsibility. Europe must sit at the table as well. Of course, then you can have a good question, who represents Europe? We have European chief foreign policy, the chief of the foreign policy, we have big countries, but I think we are going to sort this out.
Le président de la République réunira les principaux pays européens
demain
pour
demain,
une
sûr.
discussion
Vous
portant
confirmez
pour des discussions portant sur la sécurité européenne.
Oui, voilà, c'est vos homologues.
C'est le chef d'État et de gouvernement. Mais je pense qu'il faut, si vous voulez, il ne faut pas dramatiser ce type de réunions parce qu'elles sont très fréquentes. Il y a un vent d'unité qui souffle sur l'Europe tel qu'on ne l'avait peut-être pas ressenti depuis la période Covid.
With Ewald von Kleist, this conference started as a transatlantic conference. After the speech of Vice President Vance on Friday, we have to fear that our common value base is not that common anymore. I'm very grateful to all those European politicians that spoke out and reaffirmed the values and principles that they are defending. No one did this better than President Zelenskyy. Let me conclude, and this becomes difficult.